Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch Dev Stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Oh, it's a chilly day today. We're just gonna be hanging out, having some fun, playing some Last Epoch. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you with us. We do stream for charity. Charity's always above my head. It's Child's Play. We're playing a marksman. We didn't do a ton of upgrades. I'll show you when I get to a chest, but I did get a few bases that if we find some good exalteds, we might be able to craft on. We'll see. We're up at 200 corruption, so nothing crazy. We're hoping to eventually, we've switched to shurikens as our triggered ability because of this amazing corruption right at the end of last stream. We're looking for as much of that as we can get. This is good. This is the first time we've had a 2 LP Drellcore's Nemesis roll. So we can now... Oops. Off by 1. We can now get... Make sure I did that right. Yes. Doesn't really matter what's in it. Just because it has 2 mods, it's now treated as a 2 LP. None of them rolled 2, that's fine. We'll eventually get one. What's the base damage in it? 48. Okay, nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Perfect. We had a sub! Mr. Flibble. Thank you very much for the sub. That's 26 months. Years. Thank you very much. Happy teaser day. I do actually have a tiny little teaser, sort of. It's a teaser in the truest sense of the term teaser. But we might be able to pry some information out of it or something. I don't know. Let's try. If you do have a question for me that you'd like me to answer, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question or at Last Epoch on YouTube, and we'll get that answered for you. I'm expecting a little bit of a slow set of weeks coming up here. Is it next week? It's two weeks from now. There's a little bit of an event happening that might draw some stuff away, you know? Had some early play tests for the new primary mechanic for season 5 start up already internally. It's a good one. It's a really good one. I'm a big fan of this one. Still early, so there's lots to adjust on it, but both from a like gameplay and from a what it does for the whole like gear transition stuff. Big fan. Right. 48 with 1 is probably the best one here. Just gonna throw the others away, honestly. Yeah, so we've got this one can go now. There's decent bases for the weapon. We've got a 2 LP Nightbringer, a 1 LP Semi Fate, and a 2 LP Jungle Queens. Oops. That we are going to eventually craft on to replace the ones that we have. Well, this is a crystal wind right now, but close enough.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't really care about this at all, 'cause I'm terrible.
Take care.
And we're ready to fight. Trying to rack up some harbingers. Okay. Does EHG wake up in the morning and just puss excellence? Oh. Nope, because I just died while looking at the question. Okay, we'll just hop right back into that. And we don't have enough now. Oh, of course. I mean, I like to think we're pretty great. But you can always be better. Yes, that was definitely not excellent. You're right. I'm squishy. I'm just a squishy boy. So I don't think Guile's actually doing anything great for us. And I'd like to have my dodge back. So I think I'm going to try to get a new Nan. I probably should imprint that, actually. That's really what I should imprint. Ding, level up, ding, level up. Right. Hi, Mike! Don't forget you are in Merchant Guild and you can find the bow you're looking for. I know, I like finding drops. I think this is the core part of why I always default to COF is because I do just like finding stuff. Also real poor right now. I keep buying stuff that's like moderate upgrades. Maybe I should list some of those bows. Someone else might be looking for moderate upgrades. Part of the problem is I haven't bothered listing anything in like a month now. Such a lazy trader. I'm not just gonna pick these up willy-nilly anymore either. We're maxing that out. Yeah, these gloves are sweet, but we do have sweet ones already. I think I am going to put this in here. Nope, it's corrupted, and it's the wrong type anyways. What am I doing? I made some fine doing. All right, PvEer. Yes, the year's LE has accumulated some uniques that don't really fit character fantasy. Something like Void on a class without Void. Yes, good point. I can explain one of those pretty clearly. Going forward, would you prefer to rework those into something usable or give the class something to fit the item? Generally, I think it depends. I think I'm more on the side of maybe give a little bit more to make it work sort of thing. And it's not always an intentional thing that you give a class to make it work. Sometimes it's a unintentional thing. I think those are almost the best, where it's like a discovery that's made or an accidental combination of items that just turns out to be awesome. Those are my favorites. Some of them were made specifically with the knowledge that we were going to support them later, and sometimes that support may have been delayed a little bit because other things were prioritized ahead of it. One of them in particular, there's a void spear for mage, which is like so weird. It's just how did I describe it the other day to one of my friends? I said an abomination, I think I called it. And that one, it's one of my favorite items, so like I say it with love. It was part of a community poll to create the item. So there's certain items that get made in sort of just like a weird way, or like sometimes it is a backer unique that gets made, and like someone really wants a certain style of thing to exist, and so like we try and fit it in. But there's sometimes not always enough support to make it work. Sometimes it's a community made unique like that one, and other times, yeah, we are planning on supporting it more later, sort of thing. When these bows drop, that one is. Look, they do come out imprinted. So much experience. Yes. Just want to check this one we just got. Yeah, okay. It is. All right. Wait a second. This might account for why I so squishy versus Void Boss. Let's take a moment. What do we have that can resist void? Here's this thing. There's the weird item. Can't really see it over there. There's the weird item. Void, void, void. Okay. Good stuff. Void damage, no. Void damage, no. Vitality does it too, right? Void res, void res. Void pen, void res, and vitality. There's a good one for us. That's a pretty good one. These are just all okay. Finding a home for this one's gonna be a pain with what we got. But it does like half of what we need. Okay, there's no necrotic here, so we'll just slot that in. Do that for now. Keep this close. All right. A lot better. Still not good, but better. All right, I know Ichi has a strong opinion on the campaign, but after doing it so many times, I really wish we could just get the option to skip it. Anything new on your stance on this? Not really. In general, I think there needs to be a leveling process, right? And having that be exactly the same as like endgame content farming is, it feels off to me personally. And I don't know, that might be not the way to think about this. So it feels like there needs to be some other mechanic to do through leveling, like some other system. It can be like, I don't know what it needs to be, but something other than exactly the same as what endgame is feels appropriate to me. don't know why I'm doing this. So what I'd like to see that alternate leveling system be is more along the lines of the dungeon system. That's what I really want to see it be. Now the dungeon system needs a lot of love before that can really shine as that system. So I'm not sure what the timeline on making that actually a system that makes sense for that process. Lovely. Lovely. Sure, let's do amulets. Why not? Collapsing Horizon. Yeah, we'll be doing that one soon. All right. Also, if I'm sounding a little hoarse today, just getting on the tail end of a cold. So you'll probably see me drinking a lot of different things today. I got like 3 drinks over here.
Welcome back. Though before we can do that,
Give me that XP. Yeah.
we'll have to get past Aberoth, of course.
As far as what we like, just throwing people straight into the monolith right at level 1, something feels wrong about it to me, and I don't know if there's anything. I don't know if that's like really contrasting with most people's opinions or not. Okay, new purchasable woven echoes. Should we see what he's got? Let's see what he's got. Do you remember where your love for rogues and bows comes from? I don't know. My immediate so I don't know if this is where it started, but my immediate reaction when I think of the answer to this question is a game called Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Which I think I don't know if it originally released on Xbox or and then released on PC after or something like that. But it had a apparently a lot of people like this game. Great. It had a really fluid agile combat system, especially when you had chakrams equipped as a weapon, and that was my favorite. I know that sound means something. Is that follower sound? That's follower sound, probably. Yeah. Sweet. An item dropped somewhere. No, it wasn't.
How may I assist you?
And I feel like I've been chasing that feeling of playing chakrams in Kingdoms of Amalur since. All right, we got some memory amber. We haven't done this one. We have it though, don't we? Yes, we do. Done this one, haven't done this one. Do we have it? Yes, we have lots of them. We need a better system for this to see if we already have it as well. There we go. Nice. Acolyte. Oh, but we've already done that. Whoops. It's new. I have this one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I got a few of those. Have it. Done it. Have it. Don't have it. Really? Wild. Sweet. All right, we've got some fresh ones. I am going to. I think I'm going to enchant this one. Yeah. And we're gonna go. What needs a better blessing? Everything. This one's, yeah, this is funny because I've got the guile, so the dodge rating doesn't mean anything there. Chance. Yeah, I see this one. Black Sun, isn't it? Yes. It said it right there, I'm pretty sure. All right. Also, I have a question about why Acolyte doesn't have the affix damage taken goes to mana just like Mage, considering both facts that Mage is the master of Acolyte and both are spellcaster classes. Any reason why? Mage, so just as a mechanic, your mana is the primary like cost resource management device for Mage, and Acolyte it's more about health. So we really want to make that distinction in spellcasters and have that class identity, which is one of the core like design pillars is class identity. And so one way that we can make them feel and behave differently from each other is by really leaning into the mana on Mage and really leaning into the health on Acolyte. Yeah, that's why. We need to crank up the difficulty on this one. Are there any that are just available? There's one right here. We've got to get to it. Does it exist in here? It doesn't. Tragedy. Fine. That's fine. Are more skill changing uniques coming to the game in 0.5? Sorry, I laugh because 0.5 is a different game coming out very soon, but 1.5 is us. Those are always my favorite uniques. Yes, there are. Yeah, I think that's one of the most fun uniques we have to make as well. So they frequently get ideated, and I think a lot more of them get designed than actually get implemented because they are a little higher lift than the ones that don't do that. But yeah, there's always some. You're gonna do this first because chances of me dying in that omen are pretty high. Almost tempted to come back for it. I mean, not a bad one, not what we want. Should we try it? Let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, you know what the worst that could happen. Wait, we're only at 100 corruption here, aren't we? Should just race to the end. That's okay. Are there any plans to include controllers profiles similar to other games so A button can be hot heat? There are like specific buttons can be changed. There's certain buttons we've locked down that can't be changed. I don't think we have any plans to adjust which ones those are at the moment, but we always could. So if there's one you'd really like to see be able to be changed, like let us know. Bro, area for throwing area skills. Can we do that anywhere? They kind of both have to be good right now. That's what we need to go buy, is like look for some idols and actually buy them. I think I spent like $3 grand on idols. Ooh, here we go! Oh, 200 just didn't show up when we were actually at like, I mean, decent corruption. 200 is not really exactly that high, but still. 22 boots. Not bad. Zweihander. Okay. Is there a reason that the player character dialogue doesn't appear in the chat log? I never wear my headset, so I can't tell what any of them are saying during the campaign events. There probably is, yes. Do I remember what it is? No. I feel like it used to at one point. Someone who's been around forever, let me know if I'm crazy. They may have been before we added the voice acting. It may also be because the voice acting doesn't stick perfectly to whatever the script was. I guess we could just transcribe from the voice acting as well. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Doesn't matter, it showed up anyways. It was going to, it had to. Oh, never fix my idols either, but you know what, that resistance is key because it is a void boss anyways. Alright. Don't even know where you are. That's okay. We don't need to know. Alright. What do we get up to? 201. What do we need to get to? 200. All right, I guess we're set. We could just roll right into it. Would you say Mortitas is a shaman? I'd say there's significant overlap with like theming and abilities and things like that. I don't know. Calling a ringer. See if he's online. Been that long since I've talked to him. Oh, no, it was way at the top. Any plans to revisit the zoo/minion necro? Mike, we need some love. I mean, there's always new stuff coming out. I can say that every single ability that is zoo minion related on Necromancer is getting pretty significant changes over the course of the next 2 patches. Mostly 2 from now. I don't really have any hard, like, this ability is getting buffed, sort of things. Mostly because I spend most of my time in like the mechanical side of things. And we deal with the fine tuning after that. I'm kind of cheating when I said that as well because it's dead by any skill. There's not taking chances in this mode. Go for a flight. Nope. All right. He moved it. Got him. Okay. Jesus Christ, come on. Look over there. Fart. Hey, natural beer drop. We need a tiny bit more movement speed and cooldown recovery. Okay. Deep breath, everyone, we're fine. Ooh. It's only 200 corruption, it's not a lot. Alright, when 1.4 launched, there were a variety of bugged enemies that did egregious damage. As a hardcore player, these bugs brick the game. Is there a plan to get ahead of these issues in 1.5? Yes, we just made a new tool for measuring individual enemy DPS. To like, okay, I shouldn't say made a new tool. We've improved an existing tool that can better predict real scenarios that'll happen. And we're dialing in the variety of situations that certain enemies can appear in so that those things will happen less often, and we'll know where the big spiky damage comes from. I do think it's really important that there are specific enemies that are really scary. I think that there are, like it's interesting when you're like, oh, there's these enemies in this area. I've got to be careful of this guy. Like I think that's interesting, compelling gameplay that makes you think about each level in a different way. Where you're like, you might play really aggressive against certain enemies and really passive against other enemies. Passive might be the better, cautious, respectful. There's a better word. And I mean, our crit's so high, I wonder if I even need this. Like, does my crit fall off if I get rid of this? $76, and it actually goes up. So I get a buff that increases it too. It's a lot of crit chance though. I'm just looking at this health going. Voidress, there we go. Yeah, I think we leave it, and if we want to switch, we can, because we can always come back and grab it. Enemy damage should be balanced around Mike's resistances. That way, characters would be immortal. Yeah, I deserve that.
Welcome. They just don't worry about me.
Okay, what do we have to? 225 is the next breakpoint. I kind of want to just go back and do that one again to get a better crit buff. What was the ones we picked out? Oh, we did. We picked out health for that one anyways, not crit. All res, we got that. This one's supposed to be health or endurance. I probably don't need that either. Let's go to Age of Winter. Hi, Mike. To be honest, I don't remember if this hasn't been asked already, but any chance we get some optionality for left click? What if I want to assign a skill to that? You can assign a skill to that. Ba, ba, ba. I am holding shift and left click right now. That's it. Or if you put something that doesn't need a target, there's just oh, you do still need to shift, yeah. This one's also interesting. This is barrel breaks, those melee's barrels. If you have no, this was done. This option was created because, and the reason it's a picture of a barrel specifically is because the arena, the original end game before the monolith even existed in it's like what we called the minilith. This is like Kickstarter version of the game sort of thing, or like just the pre-alpha that came out just after the Kickstarter or something. We had the arena. And the way that the arena dropped items, and it still does, is by putting a bunch of barrels that are full of gear that you click at the end of each 5 waves. And some builds didn't have any ability to do this, so they had to like equip a melee attack and then attack them all, and then equip their regular skill again. And sometimes that meant like unsummoning a minion. So that's why it's a barrel. Those are barrels. But yeah, it's that little button there. As for putting a 6th skill on your bar, no, we're not doing that. Sorry. Yeah, let's do this.
The silence wakes.
Excuse me. All right. Oh, here's a beefy question. Would it be an easy change? Probably not. Would it be an easy change to turn monolith timelines into customizable reward focus? Customizable reward focus. Let's read on. I feel like most people do certain monoliths because they have more rares for more drops. For example, Black Sun, while the others get ignored except when going for boss drops. Do you think we could not only customize the enemies we would like to see, but customize drops? For example, I want to farm in Fall the Outcast. I can pick between Ruined Era and Divine Era. I see what we're talking about. So yes, this is there's a bit of a push and pull from having specific like theming around the bosses that are there and having specific like eras of enemies show up around those bosses, and like there's certain lore reasons why we pull the mechanics in a specific way a little bit based on that. Having said that, it's not perfect, it's not rigid. We are, one of the main things we are looking at for the future is better ways to customize reward and challenge from the model. So I think that's one thing that that maps in PoE does really well, is you're crafting the map, and the way that the map system integrates with the crafting system is elegant, I think, to say the least. And having a lot more like agency in the way that you are like going through the monolith and picking the sorts of challenges you want to overcome, I think it's something we're more interested in. I think as we add more variety to that, the system we have set up, it becomes harder and harder for you to pick what you actually want, because there's always like other things pulling you to change which ones you're picking. So like frequently you're trying to say, okay, I'm just going to push to the edge as fast as possible. Okay, great. So I don't really care what the challenge or reward are, because my goal here with the direction I'm taking on the monolith progress is get to the edge. And there's some micro decisions you make in how you get to the edge, in the sense of like, okay, you might pick A or B because one's slightly better than the other, but it's not really the reason you're going in that direction. So we are really interested in opening up the way you select your challenge and reward in the monolith. We actually had a brainstorming session for those yesterday. I put some silly ones in there. If one of them gets picked, I'll be really happy. Any one of them. All right. I think we're just going to shatter this because we're planning on smashing this whole place. Like, we're resetting this web. We're upgrading. So I think we just shatter it. I can't believe I did it. When we were offline, I spent a ton of resources and bought a whole bunch of eggs, and a bajillion things spawned. And I'm like, this is the perfect thing to do on stream, Mike. You're an idiot. Why are you not saving this for stream? I don't know why. All right. Here we go. Corruption gain 102. That gets us close. That gets us to, yeah, 202. If we stack more gaze, we could get all the way up. But I'm tempted just to push back out again and do a second increase instead of trying to go for it all at once. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, I got an answer about the is Mortas a shaman question. And I answered it pretty well the first time. But I'll read that and maybe I'll expand it. So yeah, not really. Is how it opens. Yeah, just ask if I can just read that out. I think it's fine. We'll answer another one in the meantime. Ever wonder if class identity can restrict the future of the game? Yeah. I, for one, would love to play as a corrupted sorcerer who pays for all his spells like Meteor with health. Yeah, and so that's not to say that there is no world in which, you know, like Acolyte. So this is referring back to when I was talking about the difference between how we focus on mana for Mage and health for Acolyte, and to keep them distinct as much as possible. That's not to say that like Acolyte doesn't have any mana cost to their spells, and that's not to say there's no way to have any sort of health cost stuff in Mage, because there actually is. Well, it's not really health. There's kind of health cost. There's like damaging yourself with spells as you cast spells. so it's tangentially there. And there's lots of spells in Acolyte that cost mana and things that scale with mana and all that sort of stuff. So it's more about just having the like strong theming there, and like where it makes sense, have that split. But there are several situations where we have overlap. And I think quite often that'll come in the form of, and when there's departures from primary theme, I think it primarily comes from items. So if we were gonna see an item where it says like, for example, mage can pay for meteor with health, I think it would probably come in the form of an item. Kind of like how there's a void spell, and there's like a void spell spear for mage, and the void conversion for fire or Dark Shroud of Cinders, I think. So lots of times those departures from like primary theming come in the form of items. So this is about the is Mortitas shaman question. He has some ice attacks which are similar to some of the avalanche stuff our shamans can do, but that's more of a Herboria and Herot flavor mixed into his profile due to being Herot's son. Whereas his main vibe is berserker fueled by bloodshed and violence. You gotta love being fueled by bloodshed and violence, right? He's not nice. But that's okay, not everybody in the game's nice, you know? Alright, when we complete a dungeon for a campaign skip, it does not complete the campaign quests associated with those skips, correct? I will read the rest of the question, I promise. Any design philosophy for why that happens? I find myself on third, fourth, etc. characters starting echoes very soon, but having the quest log always polluted with the campaign. Yeah, I think this is more of a in case someone is coming back, like they're on their first character maybe, or maybe they get out of sync with the main timeline, and they have to come back to the game, like they put it down for a day or two and come back, and they're not really 100% sure what's going on. The quest signposts where to go, what to do, what's next really well. And if you're not quite powerful enough, it's a really easy way to go back and get back on track of the like where you were supposed to be. So a lot of it is like preventing new players from getting lost and wrecked. I think what the like underlying issue here is, and the thing that I've heard as feedback from elsewhere, and the thing that I personally feel when I'm coming here, because I don't know if you noticed, but like every stream, first thing I do is turn that off. I wish you could just abandon quests. Or permanently hide quests. But yeah, I think that this being bloated is frustrating to a lot of people. Especially when you're in a situation where like coming back and doing this quest, 100 experience and 100 gold. The reason to do this quest at this stage of the game is to get that marker off your map, not to get the rewards for it at all. And it's like there's lots of games where that happens. And I'm not saying it's good in any of them, or a reason to keep it for ours either. Did that beep a second ago come through? Did anyone else like It's just a notification reminder, but I'm just wondering if the notification reminders are coming through. Yeah, did you hear something? Okay, I'll figure out. I'll fix that for next time. Oh, I got you. You ever feel a sneeze coming on? I'm sure you do. We're fighting it. Oh. I think we're okay. That wasn't that bad. Hello. All right. Ooh, what's that? Not good is what that is. At least not for us. I crafted up this. Very pleased about this. But it's a lot of wasted dodge if I have that guile. I think we'd be a lot less squishy. More questions. Fall behind. Oh no. Will you consider slamming set affixes on other item types? Probably not, but still the same slot category. Slamming on mace instead of a sword. Ah, I see what you're saying. I think you meant like slamming one. Here's part of the problem with that, and it kind of, and you actually hit the item slot that exactly causes a problem for all the other item slots. Actually, it's the only real item slot that matters, because it's the only slot where different types restricted. So here's why. Specific set affixes and set bonuses are designed such that it is intended to not be able to have multiples of them equipped at the same time. And so if you have, like, there's situations where say one of them was to go on a mace, you couldn't have two of them on a mace at the same time because you can't dual wield maces. It's a pretty narrow issue. I don't know if it would actually break anything. It's the chest back there. Mike, what are you doing? But it stems from the dual wielding restrictions. And partially the theming as well. Just more bow damage, you say, huh? T6 bow damage. I mean, great, but no T7 crit and attack speed. We're good. Let's go. All sorts of cool stuff. Excuse me. Oh, here's a little. get a little art teaser going on. We'll answer a few questions here. Have a little break, a little drink. In classic form of early teasers, we've got a few snippets of concept art. If you have to choose, would you rather new stuff overperforms and is nerfed or underperforms and is buffed? I don't know which is better. See, here's part of the problem. Neither one's a good option, really. They're both bad. I think new stuff overperforming and is nerfed is probably overall better. In the like, if you had to pick in the general case, most of the time it's probably better. But it's not good still. Mostly because a lot of the stuff that's coming out is themed around the new things. You want the new things to be fun and interesting and all that sort of stuff. And if the new stuff's interesting and people gravitate towards it and they try it and it's not fun, and and it's not powerful, like it's underperforms, then there's a whole group of people that have just like started up the new patch with the new season, the first character, and it's just like falls flat. And that experience sucks. And I think that experience is worse generally than oh, got the new thing and it's really strong, you know? And to be clear, it's not ever designed such that we're like, it's the new thing, let's make sure it's really, 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 really strong, and like we're gonna like up it 10% just because it's the new thing. Like that doesn't happen. Any new melee weapons skills coming? Yes. Oh, is that melee skill? Maybe. Yes. There's a new melee skill coming. Yes. What am I talking about? There was one that I'm going back and forth on, but there's another one that is definitely. So yeah, we're good. Mike, the passive Shamanic Infusion gives penetration and has fire, cold, lightning depiction on its icon. Why doesn't it affect Fire Pen? So many items convert Shaman to fire. Fire is a secondary property for secondary element for Shaman in general and Primalists in general. Probably tertiary for most of Primalists and secondary for Shaman sort of thing. And the icon was probably selected because quite often we'll be like making the trees and we've just got a big bank of icons and we're like, we've already used these, especially if it's a tree that has a whole bunch of elemental depiction icons that fit a really specific pair of elements, and we've got a lot of these tri-element icons. Sometimes it's just a matter of like, hey, we've used all the other ones, let's just grab another one from the pile. Hey, that one happens to have 3 on it. So the icon probably wasn't made for that node. The node was made and then the icon selected from a pool, and it happened to be one of the later ones. It's probably what happened. Is it an intentional policy to choose a class and look them over in each patch, or do you more prefer sweeping changes? We do both. Typically the last few patches and the next one coming up too, we've focused on specific classes for major changes. Usually it comes because it's becoming around adding specific new skills for those classes. So like the classes that are getting new skills are probably going to see the most attention in general next season. Partially because there's like a lot of things that integrate with those new skills when they come in, because the skills are so interconnected with other skills in the class and the passive and the items and all those sorts of things. You have to sort of touch every element of that class when a new skill drops into that whole piece of the puzzle. But LEO will have much more sweeping changes. Much. All right. The roadmap for 1.5 mentions Mortitas power growing as you do the league mechanic. Any chance you could elaborate on what growing means? Would it be endless scaling like corruption, something that cycles and resets every few hours like the beast mechanic, or something else even? I can't really talk too much about it right now. This is the sort of thing that we're still in early, like we've had 1-2 playtest sessions for the like first version of it so far. And it is it's still in flux on exactly the the core is there, and I don't think it's going to change, but like there's still a chance that we get to a point where we're like we need to adjust things a little bit. And so I don't want to talk too much about the specifics of it yet. It'll probably be saved, like we're talking much closer to launch when there's more of like a blog post that goes into details of it. I wouldn't read too much into the specifics of the like mechanics that are coming from the roadmap. There we go, words. As that was released very early, and we kind of just decided there was an early pitch of the mechanic that we decided on at that point. But a few things have changed since then. But there is like what the roadmap says is still true. All right. Earlier you had said you had some hands-on time with Season 5 mechanic. I know you can't talk about it specifically, but can you talk about what hole it's trying to fill in gearing, also when lore stream? That's fine. I was just talking to Kyle today actually about doing a lore stream. He'd prefer to save it for when we have more like new lore things that have come out to talk about. I don't know if there's like a good chunk of lore related questions that I can like bring to him as like a, hey, here's some stuff that people are interested in. We might be down to get him on before there's more stuff to talk about really. But maybe like shortly before or shortly after next patch release sort of thing. We might guess if we just like did it without anything else. Oh goodness, the landscape here is making things difficult for me. Come on, someone come down here. There's lots of space down here. What corruption are we sitting at? It's 200? No way it's 200. No way. I mean, it is. Just thought we were worse than that. Let's get some fresh Weaver echoes in here. Woven echoes.
Around you.
What about taking away a skill then? So you'd only have 4 total, tied to a unique with a huge upside in other areas. What about taking away a skill then? So you only have 4 total, tied to a unique with a huge upside in other areas. Like locking out a slot, be like, you don't have a Q button anymore. I'd be pretty shocked if we did. I mean, so there's kind of ways that we do that sometimes, in sort of a roundabout way. So there's mechanics where we say it becomes like a triggered ability under certain circumstances, but it's required to be on your bar and off cooldown. In that scenario, there's kind of no reason to manually activate it. So it almost ends up being like a dead button on your bar, but still there for some upside. I think that's the closest we come to that. Instead of actually locking out the button. Are there any plans for new endgame activities, new monoliths, bosses, or dungeons? Yeah. Definitely. Can't really go into details about any of it. Some of it's much more short-term than others. So there's like long-term plans for like bigger changes to certain things in those categories. There's short-term plans for changes to certain things in those categories. This just means it was at a really short cemetery. Because that was a cemetery. That felt like a cemetery. That makes any sense. All right, let's slap some of these down. Going to the edge. Rogue, we've got that imprinted. Mage, who cares? Yeah, these ones, like, you want to set them up in really specific spots. No. Let's see one of those. That should get us to whatchamacallit, I think. Enchant. Okay. Come on, over here. Actually click on it, Mike. That helps, doesn't it? Yes. Grab it again and see what you got. Terrible. Oh, it's such a low roll. I didn't even do that. Okay, that's fine. We're going this way. We're going this way, that way. There's a plan to integrate the exiled mage into the lore. It is. It's not explicitly explained very well, but it's I think there's some like tidbits around for it. Compared to the other mechanics, they feel out of place. Yeah. So what they are, the exiled mages were basically mages that were experimenting in stuff they shouldn't have been experimenting in, according to the like uptight views of the other mages. And so they got exiled for their bad experiments. Which is why when they come out, they attack enemies too. They're just on nobody's side. Do I know where that's explained in-game? If it is, no. That sounded like some cool stuff, unless that was... Oh. Right. Let's get our butts moving. We got like 100k this stream. It's not terrible. We need to get a lot more gold a lot faster. We need to work on that. Probably by selling things. That's really what I need to start doing. We need to start picking up T7s that are good generically. That was close. Mike stood in the fire. Don't be like Mike. Alright, more questions. I had a lot of fun with the meteor skill in campaign/early maps, but quickly found mana to be a problem. It seemed like there were limited options for solving mana. Thoughts on how? Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where there's a lot of options in Meteor to be like, you want to use more mana to do more damage? Yeah, go ahead. And we leave a lot of the like restraint on how much mana to use is too much mana to use up to the player. And I think often it can feel like, well, the option's here to use the mana, there should be a way to fix it, to just do all of the mana stuff with it. And there are some extreme cases where you can, as you get into like really advanced gear, you can get a lot of mana. Like there's very mana focused things you can do. So like sometimes it's as simple as just using the like abilities to generate lots of mana, like focus and mana strike. There's certain uniques that really ramp up the mana generation you get. Sometimes it's a matter of like using other non-spendy abilities in the meantime while your mana comes back. So like having like a free fireball that you're spamming while you're waiting for your mana to return to like drop a big meteor sort of thing. And so there's a lot of different avenues that we've put in place for ways to deal with that. What did I just pick up? Not awesome. I find it crazy that I haven't, like, I've got like 5 items really specifically highlighted for that I'm looking for. Ow, my face. We've got to go this way. You talked about wanting more agency in monoliths, challenges / rewards. Would this be like influencing a monolith idea or more just like woven echoes? I think there's I do know what this is going to be, so I can't really just explain it outright. I think it's more of a like introducing a new mechanic. I'm really, if I'm gonna talk about the things I like about like if we're gonna compare monolith to mapping, and the things that I really like about mapping, I think that the itemized nature of mapping is excellent. Come on, give us a flat 2 LP, come on! I feel like we've imprinted or empowered so many bows at this point. Is this just one of those things where I'm used to it being in COF? Alright, will Omen windows be more rewarding in Season 5? Probably not dramatically if they are at all. We haven't got to the fine-tuned balancing for Season 5 yet. I would say that you have to remember that there are, like, whenever a mechanic comes out and then it like rolls over to the next season and that mechanic sort of becomes like evergreen, there are changes that happen to that mechanic every time. There's things we like add, remove, tweak. So we'll make adjustments on it because it's the very first time we've brought it in. There is also another new mechanic coming in at the same time that will like draw some attention in a good way. I like the idea of group solo found or a group bazaar. Was wondering if y'all had plans to do something like to do these sometime soon, like locking visibility of items on bazaar behind a group join code when you create a character. No. We talked about doing something like this a long time ago, and the solution we went with instead was the bazaar. Like, just putting this out there, like, do you want to see the spam in chat of $5 to get access to this bazaar where everything's 1 gold? Alright, for us gore lovers out there. For us gore lovers out there, do you think you could make a DLC where the game is more gory? For example, enemies defeat split in 2. Like a... pus get decapitated, more blood on humanoid, more pus or void ooze on void enemies. I'll pay $30 for that. Art is one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, I'll say second most expensive part of the game. I think it would have to be so broadly. It's really difficult to justify making something like that because it needs to have broad appeal, and you're catering to a niche market like that. And here's the why I'm struggling, because I think it's a cool idea and I would love it. I don't know if we could make it financially viable to do. This sounds really expensive. And like, so yeah, I really don't know what the appeal for it would be and like the desire to have it, but I feel like there'd be a situation where we'd be like doing some market research on like how many people do you think would buy it, how much we have to charge for it to make it worthwhile, like how much would it cost to put in. And we're like, okay, well, this expansion's $80, and we're like, yeah, that's not gonna go over well. I mean, given that it would be only visual stuff, maybe it's not terrible. I don't know. I don't see more of a fan of just like slowly adding it. And just at some point have it be an option. Because the game's already like gory enough that it's not, that not doing something that's not exactly going to get it down an age rating, you know? Right. How do I feel about imprinting? I love it. It's sweet. Okay. It seems less intuitive now with more recent changes. A lot of the imprints I choose were useless, but not obvious why. For example, I imprinted a double T7 pair of boots with 40/40 people, but I literally never saw another pair of anything like them again. But it sounded like that was used to work. Okay. Yeah, so I think we did over nerf the like the imprinting. I think it was overpowered last season and underpowered this season. I think somewhere in the middle is probably a good point for it to be. I would like it to be more transparent on what's actually happening. I think that's a big part of it. I also think part of it's expectations as well. So like a double T7 item is a really, really high tier item. And the expectation of being like, I'm getting consistently double T7 items to put in my 2 LP items is an expectation we do not want players to have. But definitely is something that we created last season by making them overpowered. Click on it, Mike. What are you doing? Rolling around it. Everything to make a primordial. I still don't have a single primordial item equipped. So sick. That is not great roll. Lore question: in the earliest version of the game, we used to have some personal narration for each character. Is there a chance we get those back? So like when you started up the game at the very beginning, there was like a little like blurb about your character. There was talk about bringing those back in like a side quest at some point. But I think because like I think we have to remake them as part of the problem, because some of them don't quite fit. Like they were all designed for right at the start of the game, and because the change to the start of the game, they don't make sense anymore. So we have to remake them from scratch, which doesn't like prohibit them existing. It's just slapping the ones that are there back in doesn't really work. But having that little bit of backstory of like who the character is and why they're there and all that sort of stuff is, I think, good overall. It does eat into the like the nameless hero sort of thing where you can put your own stamp on the character. Okay, come on, scoot. Would it be possible to update the spear mutation of Dive Bomb into a channeled skill with no cooldown in order to make it feel more like a Dragoon, similar to how Fire Blast works in PoE? I mean, technically, yes, it probably would be possible. I don't. There's a whole bunch of things I'm thinking about being like, I don't know if that'd be a good idea, sort of thing, because of how it fits in with the rest of the skills. So I don't want to say like, yes, we'll totally do it or anything like that. But from a technical standpoint, it is possible to do. Oops, don't go back in, Mike. All right, more questions. Yeah, I kind of want to take that crit modifier off the blessing to see how our crit does. So our crit's still really high. The big thing about our crit being high that we want is that it fuels our. Pretty sure it's on crit for the shurikens. We might change shurikens to orbiting as well. Poke crit? Yeah, poke crit. We do need more health because we are super squishy. Whoa. When I revisit some older bosses, I'm surprised to hear new voice acting. What's the motivation behind those changes generally? Just, you know, bringing up the lowest common denominator of quality stuff from the old content. Sometimes they're planned to be reused in the future, of like maybe we're talking about like adding them in as like a mini boss that can spawn later, or as like a like reusing the content in some way. Maybe it's like prepping for a new mechanic that's going to come in. Maybe they're prepping for a new Uber version of the boss. Maybe it's prepping. There's lots of different things we could be doing. Reasons for that. Alright. Come on. There we go. The air damage is not great right now. That's an uncontroversial statement. More loot lizards, right? This is sweet too. We just get more loot lizards. I love them. When is Imperial Uprising 2.0 coming out? I have no idea. I would love to do another one. Not necessarily Imperial Uprising, but another mid-season event like that. Okay. Should we see if we can go buy something for one of these? We got a few of these. We have to do the tier 3 for that. Not huge on, but it's probably our biggest upgrade. Boots. We do want cooldown recovery for the boots. Let's go see. Let's go take a quick peek. Let's take a quick peek in and out. Just going in for 5 minutes. Just stay in the car. It's fine. Nope, not that. We want affixes. Cooldown. Not corrupted. $46. $31. What's peak? $32. Let's see what 32 costs. That's not terrible. Just go for it. Let's go for it. We're gonna put cooldown recovery on there, specifically so we can just shift all the time. We love shift. Oh, the sign's not turned on. One sec. I had to turn the sign. We're going right to the end. It's happening. Boots are low level 60. Is this 60? 65. Wait. Gotta turn on dev mode in your game, I see. Yeah. So when are you gonna hire Aaron Action RPG to lead your PR department? don't think he'd like that. Stay behind. On my own. I'm here on my own. I totally went early enough, didn't I? Totally went early enough. Okay. Boots. 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 Hey, perfect. That's exactly what we needed. I mean, not exactly, but like we do need both those things. I mean, vitality, we do lose some of that poison res and health and everything, but you know, the cooldown reduction I think is worth it. All right. Would you be willing to add a strife-like woven echo for idols? I'd love to see something like that. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. I'd be surprised. Are there any talks about having new settings for your character? Party member skill effect visibility. Also a setting for enemy decay. It's also refreshing to see enemies disappear instantly in Omen windows, but the 10-second delay in regular monolith just drops the game FPS too much. Thanks for amazing season. Enemies decaying quicker or not, that's something we can do. There was a Reddit thread that was talking, or maybe it was Discord, they were talking about this recently about having, I think it was in the Discord channel, about the like, oh, someone in your party does this and it's at like half visibility or whatever, so like it's, you can't really see it on screen very much, and like when I do it someone else doesn't notice it, it's not as bad, sort of thing. It is, I'm gonna say this very cautiously with a gigantic asterisk beside it. Thank you very much, someone. A gigantic asterisk beside it. First, it is technically possible that we could do that. However, it would require recreating every single visual effect in the entire game. So no, we're not gonna do it. Because the time to do that means like any new enemies and skills and like new effects or abilities or like conversions, new MTX, like cosmetics for abilities, all those things, all of that just gets put on hold and stopped, or else like slows to a gigantic crawl. Like if we suddenly say, okay, we're gonna take 2 years off of adding new skills to the game, like no, you know. So, or like 2 years off of like changing skills, like adding new effects to skills. Yeah. Getting some love from my terrible stash in here. Yeah, you know what? It is terrible, and I don't know where anything is. And I do use the search to find things if I'm gonna start looking at it. I don't really ever do any crafting stuff on stream. But when I do go to do crafting stuff off stream, it's a bit of a pain. and I can't find stuff very well. I'm muted. I have a little concept art teaser tease here. There you go. Are there any talks about you guys upping the marketing or being more active on social media realm? I absolutely love the game, you guys, but us players are absolutely starving for more information. We need to hype for you guys, especially with the long waits between seasons. Yeah, like, the strategy so far has been mostly to focus the marketing time like in the lead up to a new season coming out. Like right now, especially, I don't think it makes a lot of sense in the next 2 weeks, especially to be doing a ton of marketing for Last Epoch, really, because we're still in a pretty fresh D4 season. PoE 2's got a gigantic season coming out in 2 weeks from now. So like there's this like strategic spending on marketing to really not try and fight directly with the other games in the genre that are going to be pulling attention, sort of thing. But yeah, there's you know time when it is more advantageous. Right. Let's get back in. We got some more cooldown recovery. I was doing Age of Winter, I believe. Yes, I failed this one. Yeah, we're just killing stuff until it popped up, right? Let's go. Heyo. That's a new Weaver point. You know what I should do? I should be picking the things in here that give gold. Obviously. Like saying that's like some sort of like big revelation. Oh my god! Sorry guys, that's why you're here, right? For the big brain strategy. Alright, Mike. Okay, Mike, no more playing around. When will we see Lagon appear as a scannable creature in Subnautica 2? That would be pretty awesome. I seriously doubt that will ever happen. I wouldn't say no. Right. Do you have any plan? Let me try that again. Do you have any plans outside of the idea phase of alternative side content similar to arena or dungeons for players to do to progress their builds? Like where it doesn't exist in the monolith at all. There's nothing that's like functional yet. I mean, technically, yes. Oh no, you said it. Oh, actually. All right. There we go. Gold. There we go. I'm doing it. I'm playing the game. Doing the thing. How long in minutes do you expect someone to play before they get a craftable double T7 item is moderately applicable to their current build? I don't have a set time here. I just hit slash play to see how long I've played this character. I think it depends if we're talking about being able to buy it through Merchant Guild or find it on COF. Probably different timing there. $1,500. Give you a rough ballpark. I shouldn't have said a number. We don't have a set number. Judging based on how long I think it would probably take me if I was playing hard, I think that would probably be reasonable. If I was playing on COF, to find a double that's reasonably appropriate. Part of it as well is you can craft into it. I guess I haven't even tried to do that. I probably could have done that if I crafted into it by now. This was just finding any T7. Any double T7. And there's like a shot. And I'm sure there's players who are like, I say a number like that, and they're like, Mike, that's insanely low, or Mike, that's insanely high, based on their own experiences. All right, what should we gamble for? Amulets? How about a helmet? Hey, nice. That's what I was actually hoping for. We'll corrupt it, see what we get. $30. Can we get anything else? Anything 32? Ours is way better, so let's corrupt this one and see if we get max rolls. Boom! Nope. Yeah, not really what we're looking for. Get in the sack. Nice, for the shards. That's what we wanted. Sweet. There we are. 6. Not enough. We need 225. So we can do the boss and use a needle. Do one more. Do the boss, use the needle. That should get us to 225, I think.
The reflection stars.
I love the game. I bought another supporter pack. Thank you very much. Are there plans for $90/$100 supporter packs so I can give you more monies? You know. I think the plan is to keep the like top tier supporter packs where they are. I'd still really love to do physical merch. I know it's not like a high margin thing, but I still think it'd be great. I think there's a lot of secondary benefits of having merch. I think if you're looking for more things for us, we're adding more stuff to the cosmetic store all the time for new skills, and there's new categories of things that are being worked on too. So like, there'll be more stuff to add on. If you're looking for it, there should be a new category of cosmetic stuff coming next season, actually. I feel like it's just like numlock shift at this point. I just like hold shift in space and attack. That doesn't work so bad. You just not do it intentionally anymore and just hold it. All right, what's your opinion on moving the crafting out of woven echoes? Having to run them is fine to get something like crafting mats, but not fun to have to find a cemetery to lay down Ordin's Watch to run a 2-minute echo just to be able to proceed with a craft, and probably brick it too. I think there's good and bad things to doing that, and I think that's why we do some things as that and some things not as that. Usually the things that you're like the I think it's really appropriate to have certain things in that like little bit of lead up time where you have to do it. I think the things that come from those crafts should be in general more reliable. And less frequently used. So like more niche, more reliable. Or be like large batch things that you're like ditching a whole bunch of stuff together, where you're like, I'm gonna take all of these things and like, I've got a whole bunch of this, like I built up this excess stash of these types of items and I'm gonna crunch them all together at once. And having the UI for that go in the echo is really useful. It sidesteps the mass shattering issue. All right, and then we're gonna do the boss. Boss is cold damage. How's our cold res? Not great. Yeah, not great. cold. Six Ellie res is not bad. 23 cold res, that's what we're talking about. That's nice. Okay. Oh, what's this? Oh, cool. Void. Take some of that off. And a lighting. We don't need lighting. Mana's hurt a bit. Prefixes get buffed right now? Prefixes. I mean, yeah. Do this one. And this one. $64. We'll take it. I'm glad that doesn't ruin that. I did the exact same thing last stream too. What I get for just using shift alt willy-nilly. Oh, I didn't have... Okay, this is insane. I think this is faster. Okay, nice. It didn't nuke it down enough. Cool. Sweet. I find the endgame very confusing. Which dungeons to go for, when, where they are, when and why do we send them into monoliths? You plan on simplifying things or keep? So the monolith progression is restructuring to, I think, improve this readability quite a bit. One trick with the keys for the dungeons, there's a little line on the text here. Right click to open the map at the temporal sanctum. So you can right click them, it takes you right to them. So that helps you find those quite a bit. So if you're ever struggling for those, that should help. I probably laid out the plans for what we're gonna do with this boss, and I just like ignored all of my plans that I said very clearly. All right. Someone's funky there. All right. Cold res. Not terrible right now for us. Endurance threshold. I think that's what we want. All right. Are you still alting a mage? Gonna appear on stream soon? I have done almost nothing to that mage yet. It's like barely started, but yes, I will probably switch to it at some point for funsies. We're done stream, but I'm just gonna do. We'll see if I can get a little. We'll finish up the 154, 254, 256. It'll be. Sorry, I think we're 202 now. Yeah, perfect number. Love a good old power too. Okay. Okay. And there we go. $256, no problem. All right. Oh yeah, easy question at the end. Your fitness journey over the last few years has been nothing short of inspiring. Well, thank you. Are there any good joint pain recovery tips that would be recommended to a fellow in his 40s? Well, I honestly don't suffer from a lot of joint pain stuff. I don't have any great tips. Massage is great. My wife's got great health benefits. Makes massage sweet. Yeah, but thanks for the very kind words. I'm on the road to being able to bench 200 right now. I'm really close, but 194. On the topic of crafting woven echoes, I understand the philosophy behind your answer of the crafting being reliable or mass crafting. However, in practice, in the end game, some people still end up having to run these echoes to craft one single item, like rerolling the unique before slamming it. On top of that, no crafting is ever guaranteed when there is always RNG in the final step. Yes. Attempts to eliminate corruptions. How do you think these situations could be improved? I mean, I think if the step that you're doing in the echo is like mass or reliable, it's definitely a lot better. Maybe having like alternate ways, like once you've done it in like a high enough difficulty, like a high enough like corruption, like ranking, it like drops like a version of it or something like that. That might be cool. I don't know. I do agree that not all of them fit into that category perfectly, though. More of a philosophically where I think they should fit in that category. And on that terrible disappointment, it is time to end. I will be back same time, same place next week. We will be, if I didn't answer your question, I apologize. Please head on over to our Discord, Ask the Devs channel. I'll do my best to answer it there. Yeah, about it. Oh, I still love doing these streams so much. So thanks for coming out. I appreciate all of you for being here, asking me cool questions, letting me answer them. Yeah, we'll be back. Let's go find someone to say hi to. I feel like we haven't gone to say hi to our old reliable recently. Let's see what he's up to. I should really keep track of this better, though. Drink lots of water. Bye, everybody.